Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale with another pro tips video for you guys. It's another first timer and this one is a big one. It's GuaNek, aka you can see I'm here with him. His sponsored account is called Nova the One. So the One is an absolute beast. He finished #1 in the entire world last season, and he's widely considered to be one of the best players in the entire world. You can see him here, #1 last season. We're going to review in today's episode the deck that he used, the Hog deck. Some people are saying that Hog cycle decks are dead. I think the One or GuaNek would disagree here. In today's video, he doesn't speak English so well, so I was able to, first of all, huge shout out to Guapa, who translated for me, and also to Nova from Trevor from Nova, who actually connected the three of us so we could kind of have this interview. I asked him a bunch of questions, not only about the deck, but also about his background. So we're going to get into all that good stuff in today's video. We're also going to take a look at some of his gameplay from the end of last season. Now, the One was actually one of the only two players that I'm aware of, and I could be wrong here, to finish #1 in 2 seasons. And I think Adam was the other player. So I could be, incorrect there, but widely considered to be one of the best players in the entire world. So it's going to be some great gameplay, and at the same time going to share some great tips with you guys, because let's face it, everybody likes Hog Riders, or at least I do. So I want to share some tips to kind of prove that they're still totally viable in the meta. And if you talk to GuaNek about it, he says that no matter what the meta holds, he's always going to be a Hog player. He doesn't care. He thinks that the Hog is one of the best cards in the game, best win condition in the game, certainly. We're going to get into a little bit of why he thinks that. So as we watch this first replay, coincidentally against Bright Light, who's also been on the channel a couple times before, another one of the best players in the game, you're going to see he's going to go up against kind of a beat-downy type graveyard deck, kind of control graveyard deck with the freeze as well. And let's start out by some player background here for GuaNek, the One. I don't know what to call him. I'm going to go with GuaNek, I guess, even though, again, he is on a sponsored account, as most of the best players in the world are now. Actually, Marcel, one of my great friends from Clash Royale, just announced that he is also sponsored by Nova, so certainly an embarrassment of riches, if you ask me. So his real name, this is GuaNek now, is Alicio, and again, guys, probably butchering all these pronunciations. Apologies. He's 17, and he lives in Siracusa, a city in Sicily, the south of Italy, and he's been playing Clash Royale since soft launch, so basically since the beginning, and he's always played Hog decks. As I said before, he's a firm believer in the Hog Rider as a win condition, and he hasn't veered off much. Tested a few decks here and there, but for the most part, he's always been a Hog player. So, I asked this first question a little bit about his background. So again, he's 17, he's from Italy, doesn't speak English that well, but although I think he kind of doesn't give himself enough credit there. He was actually all right to talk to, but he hasn't played any other games competitively. As we see with a lot of these top players in Clash Royale, we see that they don't have necessarily a big competitive background. Rather, this is the first game they kind of picked up, and that might speak to the youth of these players. Almost all the top players in the game are really young, except for maybe Marcel. I think that's the only guy who I've met so far who's not super young and at the top of the leaderboards, but I'm sure I'll meet some more soon. So, general tips for this deck, he said. General tips for not this deck. We're going to start out just generally, because he is one of the best players, and he's also widely considered to be one of the most disciplined players in the game. And I asked him, how can players, no matter what deck they're playing, kind of take their game to the next level in terms of how do we add that discipline that you're so well known for? And he said, the first thing you got to pay attention to is know your deck like the back of your hand, and then you have to concentrate in the match on your opponent's deck. So that just comes with repetition, and I know it's something I repeat a lot on this channel, but, GuaNek agrees. He said, you got to know your deck very well, and he's been playing, practically the same deck since the game started, right? And he knows his deck. He knows how he's going to handle certain other cards. He knows how he's going to counter every other win condition of every other archetype in the game. So what he does there is he pays a lot of attention attention to what the opponent's doing, and what he's doing almost comes as second nature. Now, again, guys, I mean, that's going to come in incremental steps, right? You're not going to expect to, just automatically know everything about your deck and every placement and everything like that overnight, but the more repetition you get, the better you're going to become. So try not to get super frustrated. And that leads me to the next question I asked him. And I said, how do you deal with anger and frustration and stuff like that? And he said, you just kind of got to take it in stride. He's obviously a good player. So, for the most part, he's winning a lot more than he's losing, but he's still losing. Just tries not to let it get to him. And of course, I'm sure he takes a step away from his device if he's tilting. I think we've all been there. And of course, it's that one time you're tilting that guy starts crazily BMing you, and yeah, it's just not fun, right? So, second replay, by the way, guys, against Dr. Main, who is the sponsored account of Hazard, who's been on the channel. Hazard also streaming. I'll include a link to Hazard's Twitch if you guys want to check him out. A young kid, but very smart, very articulate, and very entertaining, and very, very skilled. So I'd recommend you check him out too. And he's playing this huge beatdown deck here with the Golem, the Dark Prince. This is a totally crazy, expensive, but very dangerous rage beatdown deck with a balloon too. The only thing about it, I played the deck a little bit myself, and I can tell you, it's feast or famine, right? And you strike fast like you did onto GuaNek here, but check out that freeze spell. Boom, that was huge there. Ends up picking up the 3-star against him on that second replay, and that, that's Hazard right there. So that was a really good match. Now, offensively with this deck, the main thing that GuaNek wanted me to stress to you guys is not to consider the freeze an offensive spell first, okay? It's not like you're not going to use it offensively, because you just saw he did to win that match. Actually, he did it twice with the mini P.E.K.K.A, and then he did it with the big beatdown push to win that match. But the thing is you want to think of freeze firstly as your defensive option, right? First of all, you're going to want to pump. If you have the pump in your deck, try to pump. You might have to take some tower damage, but once you have that elixir advantage, you have 2 fast win condition cards that you can, if you want to, if you have the opportunity and the elixir advantage to do so, you can combo with the freeze spell, and that's the mini P.E.K.K.A, and that's the Hog Rider. So you should, between the pump and between having 2 of those fast-moving cards like that, you should be able to get one of those cards to the tower and outcycle your opponent, avoid their win condition cards. So that's pretty much the offensive philosophy of this deck. Defensively, again, he said just make sure you're using freeze on defense, and I think on this match here, you're going to see him use freeze quite a bit against this Lava Loon deck. Now, Lava Loon might be falling a little bit out of the meta, so I asked Nova the One, I said, okay, what about your deck? I mean, I already said that he's going to stick with a hog deck, but what about this variation? And he said, yeah, of course, Ash, this deck is solid. If you know how to play it, it's solid. And again, I think most of you probably have Princess because it's one of the original legendary cards. Maybe not. Don't kill me if you don't say, yeah, easy for you to say Ash, you dirty gemmer. But the thing is if you don't have Princess, you actually have a variety of substitutions here. So the Princess, obviously a defensive card for the most part in this deck. You're going to want to be playing her most of the time behind your tower in the opposite lane for some of that weak side defense that we talk about. But oftentimes, hey, you need a little chip damage at the end of this match. A little spoiler alert, you're going to see her kind of chip in there too. If you don't have Princess, can add in archers if you want to. Archers have seen a big decline, but they're still viable. They're still viable, especially on defense, or you can add musketeer for 1 elixir more. So common mistakes with this deck is spending too much elixir on your offensive pushes, and GuaNek really stressed that. That's part of the one thing that he used, no pun intended, to get to number 1. One of the one things that the one used to get to number 1 in the world, right, is not overcommitting on his offensive pushes. And this is a perfect time during this match right here to see that he's not super aggressive with that Hog Rider. He uses the freeze defensively, he stops the balloon, and then he kind of takes things as they come from there. He's actually going to finish things off here when time kind of gets close to the end here. Right at the very end, he's going to put the nail in the coffin with the Princess at the bridge. There it is. Boom, boom. Tower down. So that's how you play disciplined Clash Royale, guys. So I just wanted to give this a little bit of a shorter video, but I just wanted to share, you know, a replay against 3 solid archetypes, a Graveyard, the Lava Loon, and of course the Lava Loon, and what the heck was the other one? The Golem Beatdown one. So guys, before I let you go, I do have to share a little quick tidbit with you guys. First off, I have to give a shout out from GuaNek to Guapa. Guapa is the co-owner of the account, and she also, as I said, acted as translator, and he said being only 17 years old, he would not be able to be where he is right now, make the connections that he's made without Guapa's help. So he wanted to give a huge shout out to her. So there it is. Shout out to Guapa from GuaNek. He really appreciates what she did for him. So just wanted to end this video, guys. Not to get super deep on you. By the way, I apologize. I'm sick today. That's why I sound like crap. But I wanted to end this video because I got a message yesterday. This will just be hopefully like a quick 10-second thing, Ash. Do not ramble here. Do not ramble. But I got a message today on YouTube, actually. I never check my private messages on YouTube, but I just happened to. And somebody reached out to me and said that they were being bullied in school and that my videos helped them out. And that was so touching to me, genuinely. Because this is what I talked about in my behind the mic video that's on my channel front page, is that, you know, how can I do more for the community and actually help in their lives? And, you know, I just wanted to tell you guys out there, you know, again, not going to get super deep, I promise here, but if you're going through something in life, you're going through stress, you have drama, and it's taken a toll on you, that I got your back. And even though I can't respond to every single message, I do care about you guys. You know, I know that, you know, 99.9% of you guys have such good hearts and play this game for enjoyment, but also, you know, take the time to come to my channel to hang out with me. So I just wanted to reach out the screen to you guys and say that I do have your back. And, you know, if you ever really need anything, hit me up on Twitter, you know, just ask for me to shoot you a DM or something. So just want to, you know, like that message touched me. And, you know, I don't want any of you guys to be going through pain out there. So guys, that's it. Not too mushy, but I just wanted to thank you all, and especially thank you, GuaNek, the #1 in the world, the one, and thanks to Trevor for hooking us up. So guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.